Welcome to A Funny Thing Called Business. We are 4 business owners with over 30 years collective experience under our belts, sharing the capers and triumphs of running a small business and how we now avoid perilous customer chaos and pitfalls. And today we are talking about the benefits of packaging your services. I'm Clare Worley. We also have
Kate Curry,
Darren Angley, Pete Morgan.
Lovely jubbly, guys. So let's talk about packaging up your services then. So this is one of my favourite subjects to talk about, by the way, and one of my favourite things to work through with business owners. So hold me back, guys. So I'd love to start by sharing or talking about your first memories you have when you started packaging up your services. Because I think, me included, as business owners, we all go through this, we can't work for that long with a client, and can we really deliver all that, and can we really charge all that? So what are your first memories around it?
Well, for me, with web design, I was sceptical at first, and I'm sure everybody who comes across the idea of packaging services is going to be skeptical. Yeah, I didn't think that, how can you package up a website and, be the same for every client, and they all want something different. But when I really sat down and thought about it, for me, it was kind of like, actually, probably a good 80% of what we do when we're writing proposals, I was kind of reusing, like I say, about 80% of the proposal each time for different clients. Not every time, but a lot of the times. And it's kind of like, well, if all those things just came as part of the package, those aspects of a website that basically every business needs, if they're a service-based business or whatever, then yeah, you could package it, you could commoditize that and then charge a fixed price. And actually, I became a convert.
Yes.
So now I'm on your team.
Brilliant.
Pro packages.
Who else is on my team? Who else started off sceptical, I think, because I think that word is going to resonate to a lot of people who are listening.
I was definitely sceptical. I thought it was impossible.
Yeah.
Because what I sell is like creativity, and it's like everybody wants something different, or this is what I thought anyway. Everybody wants something different. What I deliver every time is different, but it's only a bit like what Darren just said. It's like it's only when you really sit down and look at it and go, there's a big chunk of that actually that is sort of repetition, and sometimes it's not necessarily what people ask you for, but what you know that they need.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So that was like a bit of an eye opener, really, because then I can go, well, you might think you want that, but you will also want this, this, and this.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that's not going to work. So
Yes.
why don't you look at package A?
That's a very good point. Yeah. I think because people don't necessarily know what they actually need.
No.
They just think they know what they need,
Yeah.
and they try and when they come and have an initial consultation, they say these are the things I need because I've thought about it. But actually, they don't know what they don't know. So absolutely, that can be. The package itself can inspire and
And it saves so much time. I mean, gosh, I spent so long
On
writing
proposals.
proposals, late into the night, thinking, I've just got to get this out, and otherwise I'm not going to make any money and stuff. And looking at how much of your week you were spending doing it was a bit unsustainable, really.
Yeah.
And it's a harder sell as well, because you're talking to somebody and you're like, I'll just go away and think about it, and then I'll come back to it.
You just put in a
And it's-
massive delay in.
Yeah. So it's definitely made the process a lot easier to handle, and the conversation easier to have.
Yeah. Pete, what about you?
Yeah. Now, how...
not a convert.
Is he not a convert?
Is he not one of us?
No,
Shut
wait,
off
no,
his
no.
microphone, someone.
No, it's more a case of, how we often talk about the fact that I'm kind of the less experienced business owner out of the 4 of us. This is a prime example of it. I was resistant only because I couldn't see the point, because someone would say I want a podcast and I go, yeah, I don't know, £4.50. Someone like, yeah, that sounds about right. And for the first 2 years, every client had a different price, because it was what I felt like at the time. And one of the things that the packages did for me, as good as they are for the client, but what they did for me was regulate my prices
Yeah.
of, right, this is how much I'm charging, so have it. So it took me a couple of years of just plucking figures out of the air before kind of going, right, packages, A, B, brackets, most recommended, C.
Yeah.
Most popular, most
Most
recommended.
popular, yeah.
Yeah.
Even then, though, I thought no one's going to buy this. I remember even after going through all of that, like, no one's going to buy it.
I still think that
surely
now.
not.
Still think that now. All right, then.
Yeah, but obviously it's been a few years now, so I'm speaking with a bit of like with the journey behind me of going through the pain barriers of, you know, how do I do it, and what what are the outcomes, what are the benefits of doing it, and it's definitely worth going through the journey.
Yeah.
And I love the comment about pricing because lots of business owners probably change their pricing all the time.
Yeah,
depending on
case
who's
by
sat in-
case. Yeah,
who's
yeah.
sat in front of them, and it does absolutely keep this is the package, this is the price.
Yeah.
It throws back a little bit to our episode about negotiating as well,
Yeah.
which is obviously available on your library there. But where we were sort of saying, you know, it cuts out that negotiation because you say, well, this is the price of the package. And then, you know, they might try and quibble on it or whatever, and fair play, and sometimes you might give. But, you know, it comes with a bit more authority when you say, this is all you get, this is what, not all you get, this is all the wonderful things you get, and this is the price. And, you know, that's it. Like you do if you go to Tesco's and buy you know, a packet of toilet roll or whatever. It's a fixed price. You don't negotiate it.
One of the first memories I had was I had these packages in place, but something wasn't working with them. So I saw a coach who was billed as the best life and business coach in the country, and I thought, she's going to give me all the answers.
Yeah.
And I travelled down to London. I was quite pregnant at the time, and all my eggs were in that basket of getting these packages sorted. And she basically just got a megalomaniac on with me, and just half an hour, I had a half an hour hot seat out of the whole day. And this was like several £1,000s that I paid. Half an hour hot seat, nothing to do with the packages. And I was determined not to go away with the answers, and I showed her my packages at the end, and she went, oh God, no, that's too much there you're offering. And that was the end of the conversation. I got back on the train back to Birmingham, and I could have just cried.
Oh my
And
goodness.
it put me off then. I think it took me several years then to kind of move past that, and then, right, no, these packages do need sorting.
Name and shame. Name and shame. No, it's all right.
So brings me on to what you wish you'd known differently at the start of your business, because I know that, you know, we didn't start with packages. So
No.
what do you wish you'd have kind of known differently?
And I think it's that structure and that, like Darren said, of this is the price.
Yeah.
And the fact that everything is in that kind of neat little package. You know, it is that thing of, right, this is what you're going to get. So it's a defined thing rather than kind of some amorphous
like
offer
a pick and mix of anything.
Exactly. Which there's some services that work for, there's some
Yeah.
industries that's absolutely the right thing. But I think for what all four of us do, having that kind of, you know, as I say, that vagaries of a bit of this and a bit of that and some of that.
I'm not sure the pick and mix is right as like an only package that you offer, because, you know, we've said about customers come to you for expert knowledge and advice. They don't know what they need.
No, I think you're right. And so what I will do is, rather than edit out so it sounds like I know what I'm talking about, what I'm going to do is amend now what I was... So I think having a package, but then having... Almost like I was thinking of a phone company then that have a package, here's a range of bolt-ons.
Yeah.
So I think that is and clearly would work, but again, it doesn't work for me to have a massive range of bolt-ons. There's a couple of extra things that we can do, but there's not this big kind of pick and mix as well as the packages.
Yeah.
I think that's like how cars have been sold for however long,
Yes.
You buy different models, so there's different packages that you start with, and then you might add options and things
Do
to
you
it.
want to have a podcast with a reversing camera?
Yeah. Or a sunroof. Yeah.
We're noting that down.
I wish I'd have created packages right from the get-go that I really wanted to deliver, but I didn't believe was possible.
Yeah.
Because I think there's loads in there that you think, right, if I could create this package for that perfect ideal client, what would it look like? That's the package. If you're thinking about that, that's the package to put together. And just, have it sat there for when you have the conversations with clients. And one day that perfect client will be there and they'll go, I want that one.
Yeah.
Do it. Kate.
Yeah, well, I think every time you've asked the question, what do you wish you'd known? It's like the same answer as every time. Like, I wish I'd known what I now know.
Yeah.
What we're now talking about. Because that would have been really helpful. Which is, I suppose, is what this podcast is all about, isn't it, really? It's like giving people that benefit that we've got in hindsight. I wish I had known about coaching and packaging and sort of setting my business up. I was so woolly when I set it up. I had no idea, no goal, no plan, no structure. It was just like, I remember my motto was, I'll do everything for everybody. And and it was just so awful. I look back now and I do cringe a bit.
Love
like,
it.
Oh, God.
Mad, isn't it?
I didn't know what I was doing. And yeah, so yeah, I wish I'd known, but I wasn't even aware it was a thing. I didn't even know it was a thing. So it was only...
Do you think it wasn't a thing? Like
Maybe
when
it
we
wasn't
started
a thing.
businesses?
I don't know.
No, it was because I started with packages, but they weren't
But-
right.
Yeah. Well, I think I can't recall back in the days, and I'll just reference back to a podcast we did a couple of years ago about competitors. When I did my competitor analysis back then, with folders full of information about all of the competitors in the local area.
Was it a proper binder?
It was, yeah. Don't you remember the episode? Listen back. It's probably about episode 3.
It was an early one. I'll put the link in the show notes.
It was so long ago, that was when you still had the folder.
I literally have only recently gotten rid of that folder, yeah. But I don't recall anybody offering packages in sort of web design.
Well, I was
field.
a pioneer.
You
15 years
could have
ago.
been. You could have been. Yeah. I mean, I am talking probably 15 years ago. So.
This episode is brought to you by the Royal Sutton Fun Run. This year's milestone 40th Royal Sutton Fun Run will be held on Sunday the 4th of June. Participate alongside friends, family or work colleagues and raise money for a charity or voluntary organisation of your choice. Places are limited, so register online now to secure your place using the link on our new website, royalsuttonfunrun.org. That's royalsuttonfunrun.org. Don't miss out. Say you were there. Be part of history. So, what have you learned about yourself and like the clients that you work with through those packages that you've put together? Because I know around the room, people have put packages together. They've been like, "Oh, I'm not going to sell this. No one's going to buy this. This doesn't feel right." So, what have you learned about it all?
That some clients will... So if a package has got 6 things in it and they only need 5, they'll still take that package.
Yeah.
They'll still kind of go, well, I'll have that 6th thing, but it's not something that's particularly going to be useful for me, but I need those other 5 things.
Yeah. And they see the value
Yeah.
in the rest of it.
Yeah. Yeah, in time they'll come around and go, oh yeah, I'm glad that 6th thing was included.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, thank God we had that reversing camera.
that reversing camera on my podcast.
Changed
I'm
my
telling you
life.
now.
Darren?
I think one of the things that I've come to realise through doing packages, and it is basically that packages themselves are actually a process rather than the actual kind of individual needs of the client. It's become kind of like you take somebody on a journey. It's a well-trodden path of we do this, we do this, we do this, we do this, all in steps. And you do that every time, and that is in essence what comes out of having it as a package. It's repeatable. You know, in the same way that products that you buy, you know, and there are mugs on a shelf or whatever. I'm only using mugs as an example because there's one there in front of me, but they're all the same. You know, they come off the production line the same because they've gone through a process, and therefore they can be priced the same. You know, so it is kind of getting your head around that idea that the process and the package work in alignment, really.
Yeah, and it goes back to that saying, doesn't it? Sell them what they want, but give them what they need.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
the package, you know, talk about the results aligned with what you know your ideal client needs, but then give them all the value in there that absolutely they need in order to get those results.
And because it's something you've done probably many times before, that well-trodden path, you can talk with confidence because you know that it works, because it works with other clients, and they may be in a variety of different sectors doing completely different things. But because you followed, you know, that same process each time, you get the same results, you know.
Yeah.
And so you can do that for anybody, pretty much.
I mean, a business, having a successful business is, I hate to say it is formulaic. It's like that's why all the franchises work.
Yeah.
That's why McDonald's works, because they all follow exactly the same formula. You know, when you walk into a McDonald's or Costa, that you're going to get exactly the same great service, great food, if you like McDonald's and Costa. I do.
But they also, that again, there is flexibility within
Yes.
the offering.
Yeah.
You know, if you want a burger that doesn't have ketchup on it, you can have
Yeah.
one, and you don't have to pay anything different than anybody else. And you know,
But
similarly,
you still pay the same, don't you? Whether you've had the ketchup or the gherkins.
There's a
Yeah,
story once about somebody who did that, and they accidentally deleted the burger and the bun, and they just got a box of squares of ketchup on it.
brilliant.
Sorry.
But there you go.
It's what they asked for.
Exactly.
It's what they asked for.
Give them what they asked for.
Give them what they ask for. But the other thing, just on the flip side of that, it doesn't stop, you know, things being unique or being creative within those parameters.
Yeah.
You know, so things can still be personalised, which is what you're saying in terms of like how you have a bun without bread or meat. You know.
Well, that goes back to like we know that what you've asked for is ketchup, but we know you need a burger and a bun as well.
Yes.
So really, somebody should have thought that.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah,
That's
there you
totally
are.
true. See, I firmly believe those packages done right, serving you as the business owner and your ideal client, they absolutely have the ability to transform your business so that it's like easier to run, you're enjoying it more, and your clients are getting great results. That's how strongly I believe in packages.
Who should be? You were saying then, you know, the package that serves you as a business owner and your client. Who should it serve first?
I think it should serve you first.
As the business owner.
As the business
owner. Yeah.
Because I was speaking to somebody yesterday who's got a marketing business, and she was creating a package to create passive income. And I was talking to her about, you know, adding in like a Q&A or something. She was like, I don't want to do a Q&A. I don't want to speak to them.
Fair enough.
So then don't speak to them. This is a passive income. Just create, you know, here's all the products that you're going to buy. Because if she put in that Q&A and she sold it, she'd have been like, oh, God.
Yeah.
That fear when you sell something, you don't want that.
No.
So serves you first, and then it'll serve your client. Kate, what have you learned?
I've learned that you can, because we're talking about being formulaic and all of that. That's I'm not naturally that way at all.
And I don't even like saying that word because it makes me kind of go,
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that really put me off. It's like, how can you, you know, cookie cutter creativity? And I was like, is that almost the opposite of what I'm trying to sell? But going through the process and creating the packages, as I've realised that it is possible because I've done it.
Yeah.
And what I've got from that is I've felt loads more confident in what I'm selling. My conversations with prospects and you know, clients are so much easier because I can Be like listening to their problems, like, well, I know that this or this would be a really great solution, and it's just, and they're like, great, where do I sign? It's really helped me assign value to what I do, because before it just felt really like this sort of blob of something really with no real shape to it.
Yeah.
And just, what do you sell? Well, I sell a big shapeless blob. And now it's...
I didn't know I was for sale.
And now it's like put into bottles, which makes it so much nicer. And I feel like I've controlled the blob. If that makes sense.
It's a really good analogy because you're absolutely...
Is it?
It is, because packages and the structure around packages enable business owners the time and headspace for the creativity. Because your headspace is taken away from, how am I going to deliver this? In which way? And it just enables, right, this is what I'm going to deliver, but how's it going to look? The creative piece. So
Totally.
And the formula bit means I only really need to do that like once, and then that's just easily repeatable. It's not in my head anymore how to do it, because it's all done, it's all ready. So, yeah.
Totally. So because we are all experts at packaging up our services.
That's a broad term, isn't it?
All right, because I'm an expert at packaging up services, what's your biggest challenge around it?
Well, I mean, mine is keeping people on track a little bit with it and not letting them go, so I like the bits of this package, I like the bits of that package.
Yeah.
Or what's actually probably more common is, I like this higher level package over here, but I like the price of this lower. Yes. Like, that's not how it works. So keeping things on course with it and not kind of, being pushed in one direction or the other. But I also feel personally more confident because I have those packages. It's like, well, actually, you can see there the packages, and if I'm feeling generous, then it might be, well, we can do a little bit of extra value into this package here or whatever it might be, then great. But at least I've kind of got the backup of what it's there in print in front of me or on the screen. That's what it is. So, yeah.
Challenges, Pete?
It's similar to Darren's.
It was going to be the same, wasn't it?
No, it's not. It's keeping me working within the structure.
Yes, that's a good point.
Because sometimes a client, and I think, I do want to work with this client, and they do that. Well, I like this package, but I like this aspect of another package. And that's where I need to work on going, yeah, sure, fine. Go on, yeah, fine. Just put that bit into that, and that's fine. Yeah, we'll just add that on. Of doing the pick and mix when the pick and mix isn't an option. That's
the confidence aspect, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is.
It's kind of, having it, just having it printed out is, always printed out, even though that's not good for the environment, but it's just there. It's kind of, you can't change something that's printed, it feels,
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, if I've understood correctly, I'm okay with that. If I've got a client who is really hard working and committed and dedicated to doing anything to make their business a success, I will include other bits from other packages, anything to help them. I kind of like rewarding. Yeah, you're really into it. I'll do whatever it takes to help you along the way.
There is definitely a kind of a kind of karmic aspect to that, isn't there? Because you do more for them, helps their business. They come back for more coaching.
Yeah,
it's
and they'll talk about you to more people.
Yeah. There is aspects to that.
But I won't do that for people who don't do the work. Oh, I'll just give you this to try and, no.
Right, okay.
No.
I think that was a no.
Kate, any challenges?
Well, in addition to what everyone else is saying, I suppose it's continuously improving them and making sure they're right. And part of that is, so an example of that is when I first started doing my branding packages, and I remember asking for feedback, which is one of the things that I need to get better at doing that, because it's always helps you to get. Sometimes when you just ask somebody, you might not get the answer, but if you send out a form and give people a chance to really think about it and give you some real, valuable feedback, that can be really useful. And I remember at the time, I'll be like, well, what I'll do is I'll just, I'll do the ideas, I'll send them all over, and I'll leave you to think about it, and then tell me what you want. And the feedback was like, a bit of consultation after that would be really useful to help us, review and decide and, make sure that we are doing the right thing. So I built that into the package, like another session, which was, so I think it's things like that, so you can make sure that they are still really fit for purpose and the client's getting as much out of it as possible, but without it, changing your process or your formula too much, but just making sure that it's always, improving.
Yes, agreed. I think you should kind of like review your packages every like 18 months.
They might be printed on paper, but you can change it.
It's not written. It's not written.
You can evolve it and print it again.
Yeah.
See, one of the challenges I have is business owners come to me and, for example, they're, can you just help me put some packages together? And as much as I love doing the packages piece, successful businesses are like jigsaws, aren't they? It needs all the pieces. So I can help you create packages, but you might not have the confidence to sell them, or you don't know how to sell them, or you've got no customer journey in terms of, putting them in the right place. So, these bits of your business aren't piecemeal, are they? It's like someone coming to you for a logo, but, you're just providing just a logo, but they've got no other assets around it. It's no good, is it?
No, not really.
So what are the silver linings when it comes to packages?
I think it's just the ease. The fact that it speeds up the kind of sales funnel process of that, the initial kind of contact, or, the first couple of contacts you have with the client, of you're not having to do like Kate said. You're not having to go, right, I need to go away now, think about what we've talked about, put a proposal together, get that over to you. You've got to consider it. By the end of the first meeting, potentially you can go, right, this is what we do, and this is how much, this is what we can do for you, this is how much it's going to cost.
Yeah.
Thanks very much. Yes or no? Crack on. No! Yes! Do it! Is shouting at clients a good thing? Can we do an episode on that? Or is that...
Yeah. I'm kind of thinking from like a customer perspective as well as the business owner. I love the ability to be able to budget correctly. So, for example, I have piano lessons. He wants me to pay him every week. So every week I have to find, a certain amount of money. And I'm like, can I just pay you monthly? Or can I just pay you for like 3 months or whatever? So I just want to, it's done. I don't have to think about trying to find the 20 quid every week or whatever. And I just think, package it up, man.
Yeah. Yeah, he's talking to the wrong person there about paying it every week, isn't he?
I know. But I think that's a kind of trip up that a lot of business owners have. They forget that some businesses want to be able to pay monthly or quarterly or yearly. And it's nice to have that choice around it, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think following on from that, what I was going to say is I think having packages actually makes your services, you can offer them cheaper or maybe same price and a higher profit margin. But really from a customer point of view, you can be cheaper because it does take out some of the back and forth, the writing proposals. And also it becomes, as I say, that process, you don't have to think about it. You've got it right in front of you. It speeds things up. And I've definitely found that, we can work a lot quicker than we used to, and therefore we're also working a lot cheaper in a way. And also, of course, because you can chop and change the packages from the business owner's point of view, you can kind of find that sweet spot by trying out different price levels and seeing where it is that, that package should actually fit. So you don't go too cheap, you don't go too expensive.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think there has to be a lot of courage around packages. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Like that first time when you got these packages and you share them, you're like,
I hated it.
My God,
I was like, I'm only sharing it because my coach told me I had to.
Yeah, I think I actually said that.
Yeah, I only did it out of fear as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I just said, look, I'm just trying something new.
Yeah. I mean, I'll just like, flash it up at the screen or something. Don't actually read it.
You need to be able to take these in subliminally.
Yeah.
Boom. There you go. That was it. That's all you get.
Oh, I've loved talking to you today. Well, I love talking to you every month. But I think we all bring something completely new and different to the table. So everybody listening should just follow our advice. Just follow it. You've got everything you need to move your business forward. And if you've enjoyed today's episode, please share, subscribe and review so our fellow business owners can enjoy, be inspired and always keep focused on the fun side of business too.
This has been a Monkey Pants Productions podcast.